All About Asia invites you to learn about the multifaceted charm of exotic Asia and marvel at its mysterious natural landscapes. Asia, a hidden treasure that can be described in myriad ways. We invite you to sample its taste and mystery right now. Every Asian country has its own unique attractions, and with the All About Asia Super Pass, you're about to experience the extraordinary and incomparable charms of Super Asia. This is the most expensive, longest suspension bridge in the world. It is also known as the Pearl Bridge or the Dream Bridge. Where are we? This is the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge in Tokyo, the world's longest suspension bridge that is 3,911 meters long. It took 10 years to build and cost 500 billion yen. It was a major dream project completed in 1998. Shall we go on a tour of the bridge now? One place we have to drop by at before touring the bridge is the tourist spot, the Bridge Center. Let's learn a little bit about the bridge before looking around.
橋っていうのはですね、橋脚がいくらでもあれば長い橋はできるんですが、ここみたいにですね、潮流が激しい、それから、国際航路があるというところではですね、いかに橋を柱を少なくして長い橋を架けるかと、要するに航路なんかを確保した上でですね、安全な橋を作るかということが、ここの最大の特典だと思います。船で運んで
The minimum number of piers was used not to interfere with the boat traffic, and in order to do this, much research was put into the construction. Space was made by digging deep into the ground for the pillars. The pillars were pulled by boats and filled with water to sink them. They were later filled with concrete to build the bridge. Can you imagine how much work and effort went into the construction? The pillars are more than strong enough to support the tower. We hear the towers were built to withstand extreme shock.
日本はですね、地震が多い国なもんで、地震が起きた時にですね、塔が倒れるといけませんので、ここにですね、振り子を利用したですね、
The bridge was designed to withstand earthquakes measuring to 7 on the Richter scale. Special technology was needed to build the bridge due to the rough environment and harsh sea currents. The bridge is a masterpiece built with the world-class technology and Japanese persistence. The extraordinary Akashi Kaikyo Bridge took 30 years to plan and 10 years to build, becoming the Super Bridge of Asia. This time, we head to the bridge's observatory, which is visited by many tourists. The observatory is located 46 meters above sea level. The scenery of the Akashi Strait can be enjoyed from the bridge. Besides being able to look down at the incredible scenery, the observatory has more to offer. It's the Ocean Walk, where you can see the Akashi Strait under your feet through the glass floor. Standing on top of the glass might make you feel tiny, but the thrill keeps people coming to the Ocean Walk. How does it feel to walk over the ocean?
怖いけど見たいという。
そうですね。なるほど。面白いっていうのはあれなんですけど、女の人が通る場合は注意してほしいんですよ。夏場は特に。はい。なぜだかわかります。
Women in skirts must be careful. But as long as you're in the right outfit, the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge is the perfect place to be. Did you enjoy your trip to the bridge today?
やっぱりすごいですね。まあ高いところ怖いんですけど、でもやっぱり一度来てすごい気持ちよかったんで、もう一回今日は。やっぱり世界一っていう長い橋っていうところですね。
After a 4-hour drive from the capital of Jordan, we arrive at the jewel of the desert. We're about to see a spectacular sight. It's Jordan's #1 national treasure, and to tour our second destination, you have to pay a fee. The ticket to get in for a day costs about $34 US. They say the only person who can visit Petra for free is the King of Jordan, so don't feel too disappointed. Our destination is up in the mountains, 950 meters above sea level. A strong will and physical strength is a must. You can also take a donkey or camel to the top, but since it's only 2 kilometers from the ticket booth, we decide it would be convenient to go by foot. The ancient remains of Petra, made of enormous red sandstones, is breathtaking. The Sink, which is the eastern entrance gorge of Petra, is 1.2 kilometers long. The interesting shapes and colors of the stone will have you in awe, which add on to the mystery and beauty of the magical city. The rock waterway that supplied water to Petra still remains. If you think about how the city was established sometime around the 7th century BC as the capital city of the Nabateans, it is simply amazing that the remains still exist. Petra was the center of the Nabateans' caravan trade of frankincense and spices, controlling commercial routes that passed through southern Arabia. Around 8th century BC, the population grew to 30,000 in the flourishing city. The sculptures cut out of the stone mountains endured the test of time. Being near the remains is an incredible experience.
أنا أول مرة أنزل هنا.
처음 여기 왔다고.
كثير حلو يعني خيال
굉장히 멋있고.
تستغرب من المنظر.
There is a reason people gasp in awe here. It's safe to say that the elaborate Al-Khazneh best represents Petra. The 43-meter tall structure was built in the sandstone cliff, and it is still boasting its dramatic beauty after 2,000 years. Meaning the treasury in Arabic, the structure is the tomb of Elitis III, built in Hellenistic style around 100 BC. Another thing, the Al-Khazneh is where Indiana Jones and the Last Crusades were filmed. Do you remember the scene? If you walk inside the Al-Khazneh, it's quite different from the outside. It is a simple, square-shaped room with no decorations. If Petra hadn't been discovered by an explorer in 1812, the city would have become an ancient legend buried in the sand. The amphitheater, which will remind you of the amphitheaters of Rome, was cut into the hillside of red stone and is another magnificent sight. 2,000 years ago, can you imagine the thousands of people that gathered here? Petra gives us a peek into the ancient lifestyle of the Bedouin tribes, so if you're planning a trip to Asia, don't forget to drop by at Petra. The ancient city, built between enormous red sandstone thousands of years ago.
뭐 카메라로 담아낼 수 없는 사람이 눈으로 보는 감흥이 있잖아요. 그 자체로서의 가치가 대단하니까 한 번은 봤으면 좋겠어요, 모두들.
Sinangun in Korea is known for its abundant sunlight and sun-dried salt farms. The place has little dust and consistent wind, which makes it the perfect location for a solar power plant. That's how the place was selected for the world's largest sun-tracking solar power plant. The size of the power plant is amazing. 93 soccer fields could fit in the area. 700,000 nuts and bolts and 530 tons of aluminum were used to make 130,000 solar energy modules. That's the amount of aluminum used to make 25 million soda cans. Incredible! Special materials and technology were needed to create this super-sized plant, the largest sun-tracking solar power plant in the world. But before we go on, what does sun-tracking mean when we say sun-tracking solar plant?
단축 추적식이라는 것은 아침 동 45도 각도에서 저녁 서 45도 각도까지 이 태양전지 모듈이 태양과 90도 각도를 이루면서 태양을 하루 종일 따라가는 추적식입니다.
Solar energy is the energy of the future and is playing the role of protecting the Earth. The plant generates 35,000 megawatts of electricity that can power 10,000 households while saving 300,000 barrels of gas and reducing 25,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. They say it has the same effect as planting 170,000 trees. The maintenance of the precious solar power plant is just as important. The whole system runs automatically, but the plant is still monitored at all times to catch problems undetectable by the machines.
매일 수시 순찰을 돌면서 이 날아가는 새들이 분비물을 발산한다든가 했을 때 분비물이 묻어 있으면 즉각 세척을 하고요. 먼지가 오염도가 심할 때는 저희가 모듈도 청소를 하는 경우도 있습니다.
The world's biggest solar power plant continues to attract visitors every day.
사진으로 봤을 땐 그렇게 큰지 몰랐는데 실제로 이렇게 돌아보고 하니까 더 이렇게 크게 느껴졌어요.
더욱 이제 우리나라가 태양광이나 이런 신소재로 된 에너지 같은 거를 신재생 에너지 같은 거를 더 이렇게 많이 사용해서 탄소 같은 거나 이런 배출량 같은 거 좀 더 줄이고 도움이 되는 그런 기능을 많이 했으면 좋겠습니다.
Where renewable energy is made. The world's biggest sun tracking solar energy plant located in the best area for solar energy continues to make our Earth greener. We see people walking in lines, and they're all barefoot. We follow the crowd to this place, the unique lotus flower-shaped structure, the Baha'i Temple. Up to 150,000 people visit this temple in Delhi, India. One thing all these visitors must do is remove their shoes. It is also called the Lotus Temple, and we can see why. The temple is shaped like a lotus flower, about to bloom. The shape is brilliant and highly dynamic.
The Baha'i House of Worship was built in 1982 and was completed in 1986. The Baha'i House of Worship is in shape of a lotus, and we have 7 other Baha'i House of Worships in all parts of the world, in different continents.
All the Baha'i temples in the world were made by people of the Baha'i faith. Baha'i faith is the monotheistic religion founded in 19th century Persia. The religion, which stresses world peace, is practiced around the world. The inside of the temple is a place for meditation and worship. Designed by Iranian-Canadian architect Fariborz Sabah, the 35-meter-tall, 105,000 square meter large temple that can hold 2,500 people took 10 years to build. The temple was finished with the help of over 800 professionals and made of white marble, cement, and dolomite. Building the 27 huge lotus petals must have been an incredible challenge. We asked why the temple was built to resemble a lotus flower.
It's in the shape of the lotus because lotus is a very important flower in India because it symbolizes purity. And as you see, it has 9 sides because 9 is the single highest digit number which denotes perfection and unity. So we have 9 gates which denotes 9 major religions of the world. So people from different religions, they can come and they can worship to the same God. So this is the concept behind the House of Worship in India.
In the year it was completed, the Baha'i Temple was featured in various architectural magazines, selected as one of the world's top 3 structures that year. The temple attracts 2.5 million visitors every year. The 9 lakes surrounding the temples symbolize the green leaves of the lotus flower. Beyond its religious meaning, it is a resting place for families in India and a spectacular landmark and attraction for people around the world.
Feeling relaxed, very well. Yes, I really like it. I like the organic form of it. So I really think it's interesting, and because it looks modern, I like that. So it's beautiful.
It is the largest and most holiest lotus flower in the world. We visited the beautiful building where people come to pray for peace. The security here will remind you of being in an airport. No one can avoid the thorough security check. All of your belongings must pass by the X-ray machine in order for you to enter the building. We wonder what all these people are here to see despite the tight security. They're here to go up the 101-story, 474-meter-high Shanghai World Financial Center. We're at the observatory in the building that cost an astronomical $1.2 billion to build. The building attracts countless visitors. The excited tourists are busy taking pictures. The Shanghai World Financial Center represents the city of Shanghai and is proof of the rapid development of China.
第二一点，同时能够在这样的一个高度看上海的话，你会发现，上海真的是我们说的是一颗东方之珠。它的这十几年的这样的一个普通的开发之后，它的这个发展成果其实就展现在我们面前。我们很多客人来到观光厅之后，他们发出的感叹和我一样，上海真是变化太大了。
We see people taking pictures of the floor. What are they doing? What are all the people looking at? The observatory is truly amazing. The glass on the floor allows visitors to see the city right under their feet.
It is amazing to be able to look down and see the ground from up here. It is an amazing sight.
Makes my stomach.
没有优点和缺点对吗？我觉得不害怕，可能我天生胆子就比较大吧。我第一次站在这里，只有激动，没有害怕。我觉得带给我的优点是站在那么高的地方，我觉得生活非常好，而且可以看到上海的全景，心情也特别漂亮。我觉得我的工作也希望能够到达这个高度。
That was China's tallest building, the Shanghai World Financial Center. This building looks like layers of blooming flowers. Standing tall like a bamboo shoot, this building is Taipei 101. 8 is the lucky number in Taipei, which is why the main tower features a series of 8 segments of 8 floors each. The building is 509 meters tall.
이 건물은 중국인들의 부와 건강을 축원하는 그런 문양이 좀 들어 있어요. 그래서 역 마름모골 형태를 8개를 이렇게 쌓아놓은 상태에서 그 중앙에 엽전 모양을 좀 그려놨습니다. 그래서 돈 많이 버십시오 하는 그런 형태의 특징을 갖고 있습니다.
Every tall building must have an observatory. We board the elevator to reach the observatory on the 89th floor. The elevator is the fastest in the world with a Guinness record. It only takes 37 seconds to go from the ticket booth on the 5th floor to the observatory on the 89th floor. But there's more.
50元硬币。
Our guide takes out a coin and promises to show us something very interesting. The coin is on the floor, and the elevator is on its way to the observatory at high speed. The coin doesn't move at all, even when the elevator moves or stops. It's simply mind-boggling. How is this possible?
因为它在兼顾高速的同时，电梯本身非常平稳。对，因为我们电梯因为它是要跑一个很长的距离，所以电梯本身也配备了 damper，也是有风阻尼器，所以确保它在高速移动的时候不会产生任何晃动。这就是为什么50块不会倒的原因。
The most interesting thing to see at the observatory is the huge ball-shaped wind damper. The most important thing when it comes to skyscrapers is to keep them from swaying in the wind. This is the largest and heaviest wind damper in the world.
我们风阻尼器呢是利用一种叫反作用力，就像我们荡秋千一样，如果有台风将大楼往右边倒，那风阻尼器就会产生反作用力，将大楼往左边拉，因此可以保持大楼的平衡。
Seeing this safe wind damper allows us to enjoy Taipei 101 with ease. The outdoor observatory on the 91st floor has monitors on the floor, and it'll make you feel like you're walking on clouds. This has been Taipei 101. we travel 11 kilometers from Yishan, Anhui in China to arrive at the village of Hongchun, which is one of the 5 ancient villages made World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. It's one of the 5 in the world, which makes it a significant site. Built during the Song Dynasty, the village still preserves 1,000 years of history. It is especially loved by artists. This is because it is the best place to capture the peaceful and endearing beauty of China.
这里都是古老的建筑，因为每个大街小巷就是有穿插的那种视觉，就是像从这里可以透过里面，然后好多层次，然后可以有好多地方，差不多每个地方都有每个地方的画，就是可以画的地方。
Originally home to the Wang clan, the ancient village was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2000. The first thing we spot is the huge lake in the middle of the village and the man-made waterway that goes through every house. The people living in the village now still use the waterway to wash vegetables and to do laundry. The waterway supplied water to each household and even prevented fires. The wisdom of the ancient villagers can be seen here. The village is strangely familiar. Did you figure it out? Hongchun was where they shot the Chinese movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The narrow alleys and tall walls create an exotic sight. There are approximately 150 traditional residences dating back to the Ming and Qing dynasties in the village. We're not allowed to enter any of the houses, so be careful. There are separate houses open to tourists. The most impressive traditional architectural building here is the Chenzi Hall. They say the luxurious wooden structure was the mansion of a wealthy merchant. The power and charisma of the original owner, who most likely played a major role in the village, can be felt throughout the house.
Very interesting to see how historically the villages were, because many places you go to, you don't get to see the historic nature. So we're wandering around and trying to look. Very interesting. It would be good to have some English maps or translations would be very helpful, I think, not only for Americans but other. Very nice place.
This time, we get in a car to visit another place. This is the 2,500-year-old ancient city of Suzhou. We're here to see the Super Lake. Liuyuan is one of the 4 greatest gardens in China. With an 830 square meter lake in the middle, the magnificent garden boasts an impressive size. The pavilions are connected by 700-meter long corridors. Strolling along the garden, which used to be a private garden made 500 years ago, you'll notice that it is not only enormous in size, but well organized. The unique shapes of the stone harmonize with the surrounding scenery. It started as a private garden, but has now become a landmark loved by the world. The Guanyun Peak, which was formed by melted limestone, is 6.5 meters tall and weighs 5 tons. It's hard to take your eyes off the spectacular peak. It is the jewel of the garden that makes it the best place for pictures. The soft music and boats make the garden a paradise. The Liuyuan is a famous World Heritage Site in China, a country that possesses the world's grandest and greatest sites. Did you enjoy your super pass to the super attractions of Asia? The sites that represent tradition, history, and the future of Asia show us another side of Asia's competitiveness. The superpowers of Asia go on!